G'day, 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 ladies and gentlemen, and all those in between. We are back today bringing you another episode of Inside the Mind, where as a Chapter 1, Season 1 veteran, I'm going to be bringing you guys the latest and greatest tips, tricks, strategies, and more to winning not only more games, but more crowns in Fortnite Chapter 6. So guys, as always, if you are keen for another, I'm going to do a little bit of a different drop today. Make sure you do kick back, you grab some snacks and relax. Make sure you hit that like button as well, guys, as hitting that subscribe button if you want to help us reach that goal of 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Alright, we're getting quite lucky here, actually, with the double shield. Oh, pot! Definitely get a little bit freaky here sometimes. The Wrecker Revolver as well. Look, unfortunately, we did get interrupted mid-pot. I think that is one of the most crucial mistakes anyone can really make, is going to be healing up when you do not have a good opportunity to, right? These flares as well, guys, is going to come absolutely in handy in terms of identifying where the other players are around you in these locations. And having the high ground as well, like a position right here, is going to be completely critical to... Poor guy got eliminated by a bug. We do still get recognized for the kill though, which is nice. I'm going to shoot off one more flare, and we'll just double check after then. Alright, I think we might be golden. We, in fact, might be the golden goose. We do have a couple of players over to yonder there, but look, with only 69 bullets, I feel like we'll be kind of running against the gauntlet there, right? I think so long as we have that ability to most certainly drop that out of the inventory. Look, if anyone here in the comment section, if any of you guys viewing this video right now do in fact use that SMG, please let me know down below in the comment section. And I want to know why. You know, I think it's a very peculiar choice to go for that SMG. And it's one that I can kind of get, you know, on one hand. I mean, look, it does a decent amount of DPS. The recoil probably isn't the greatest, but at the same time, I mean, if you're using an SMG, you're going to be close range, right? And at that sort of point, do you really need to be controlling that recoil? You know what I mean? So, whatever the case, we will purge this outpost, though, because you do no longer need to actually get a certain amount of bug kills. What you need to do is actually go up to these little purple hive things. You need to destroy these, and preferably hit them in the purple, right? Because that'll be able to do the criticals. And now, as you can see in the top of the middle of the screen, you will only have to do 2 of these little rescue kendo sort of situation things here. I'm going to save our... Oh, hello, my friend. I'm going to save as well our flare gun for a little bit later in the game, maybe mid-game. We've got some shockwaves here, which in fact I might actually drop it for. I'm just going to double check. I'm going to shoot these off in all 4 directions. And that way, even though it's a little bit far away, I'm now going to go pick up that. So that is going to help us here. I do see another one up ahead. Real quick, we'll grab this little boon here. I think the boons this season are going to be strong. Or at least very, very helpful. Don't try and make this mistake that I made in a prior game where... Oh, there we go. So the event is now completed. Don't try and make the same mistake that I made where I did not actually grab that boon. I think I grabbed the A boon, but I'm pretty sure you don't get the same amount of effects if you don't get the B boon. Let me know down below in the comment section if that is correct, guys. I'm trying to find a car here. There's a legendary chest all the way over there. We might just go for this guy instead, and then... Is that a person? I thought it was a person. I thought maybe it was a gun. Maybe it was an item or something that was standing up there, but we are getting shot at from somewhere else, so immediately trying to find cover here. I think we're getting sandwiched. You can never be too sure. I'm pretty sure he was from behind us, but you know what? Sometimes it is not going to be the case. Alright, now if we do get lucky, we might be able to get, of course, a shockwave launcher here. But have no fear. Alright, and definitely have no misconceptions about it, because no longer is this Fury going to be the one that... the shockwave launcher going to be the one that you want. Alright, and the reason being is because now it's being... on one hand, it's nerfed, right? It's no longer going to be apt or let alone applicable really for mobility. It's also going to be for like... and essentially, anyway, it's going to be for griefing your enemies. Alright, because you can shoot it out of play now, and whilst it will initially knock them up, it's then going to hold them in the air for like a few seconds, allowing you to just shoot out, you know, a sitting duck. Which is very, very convenient. And so I think it's definitely going to be viable to have. But besides that, guys, look, we've got 4 shockies. I'm thinking I kind of want to go to this vault. Alright, now I'm going to go use it actually just so we can sort of bridge that gap a lot quicker. And we're going to go up on top of the ridge here. Alright, so the vault is just down below us here. And this way we've got the high ground where we go for it. As well as we can check out these other high ground areas up here. That's where my eyesight is really looking right now. I do notice that there is a crate or something knocking down over in the distance, falling down in the distance. Now, because there are no currently G-Wagons in the game, vehicles are going to be a little bit more scarce. And again, just checking for these areas, these little rotary exits, right? These pathways players are taking to rotate onto a POI. Just make sure you check them, you know, these roads. Alright, we're going to have the shadow tracker, alright, here. That is the mythical. Now, I did make a mistake in a previous episode that I haven't really shown you guys. But essentially, I spent a lot of time trying to hide it. I mean, look, which on one hand is like fine. It's like fair enough. But on the other, it ended up costing me... yeah, by the way, these are back in the game, the precision airstrikes. It ended up costing me. Yeah, see, now old mate's already here. I'm just going to shockwave out of here. And that's why, guys, you do not want to muck around at that POI because everyone is coming for it. I think we just dodged the swarm strike there. Very, very close one. Now, we've only got one shockwave left. We do have some roly-polies here. You can typically find a car spawn right there, though. Not a huge fan of the roly-polies either. However, you guys want to use them appropriately. Charge them up, and then jump when you guys reach the apex of your height. And then you just want to repeat this. Jump, jump, and just sort of rinse and repeat until you find a car. Alright, and then when you do, you're going to hop in the car, and you're never going to look back. Alright, the roly-polies, look, they're a decent item. They're a decent vehicle, but are they a vehicle that I think should have replaced the G-Wagons? No. No, I don't. I will scream that from the hilltops. I will die on the hill as well, mind you, so just bear that in mind. But it's just not one that I'm a huge fan of. It's a little bit disappointing, really. I think on one hand, you could more easily just sort of remove a portion of the G-Wagons to add in the roly-polies. But considering the roly-polies right now are very, very... Yeah, see, there's someone over in the distance there. Considering the roly-polies are very, very easily disableable. Like, all it takes is one hit, right? It takes one hit to knock someone out of a roly-poly. And it takes one hit to disable the roly-poly. So, I mean... You can sort of choose if you want to run that gauntlet or not, but all I see right now is another one of these favorite guns, of course. The Wrecker Revolver has shown itself to be a truly formidable item. In fact, it was one that I wasn't too comfortable with at the start, but I do believe if you guys get used to the double pump, you will most certainly be able to more properly take advantage of its true skill set. Alright, so I'm going to note here, we've got a roly-poly next to a bush. It's kind of sus sometimes. I'm pretty sure there was a guy there. I did see the roly-poly pull up, so old mate won't be far away. Couple of kills here. Try and just... Thank you. Alright, I might go quickly to try and pick up some ammunition there. And then we're going to make our way into zone. So again, we do not want to be a late rotate here. Now we want to just be... ensuring that we are consistently and constantly on the move. You never want to be in the same spot. You know, and we can see this, just how well and truly that can work sometimes when we think back to the A-Vault. You know, we were just there, and immediately I was like, oh, I want to hide this. You know, I want to hide this Veiled Precision. And I wanted to, or we probably could. We didn't see anyone. We didn't see any physical footsteps around. But alas, you know, what do you notice? Someone was already there. So we were actually saved by learning from our past mistakes. So I definitely recommend that. Of course, if you guys ever see a flare gun, 100% always shoot it off in every different direction. I mean, back towards into zone probably isn't going to be the most... Oh, we got someone there for a moment. Isn't going to be like the most useful thing in the world, but... Look, end of the day, guys. We'll rotate on out now. We do have a Darth Vader. Sometimes these are bots, alright? Aquamarine 58165. Not quite cutting the chart there, but he was shooting at someone, right? That's what you got to think. He was either shooting at one of those hives to try and get that S+ rank, or he was shooting at a player. So, do bear that in mind. Right now, I'm looking for vehicles that might be nearby. I'm also looking at that fuel station thinking, buddy, you could probably get a cheeky little refuel station off here. So we'll go and check that out instead right now and see if we can't get lucky. Of course, if this fuel station was in zone, I would probably go and hop into that car over there and I'd park it on the fuel bowser. And then I would grab this car fully fueled, fully healed, and I would drive off. And the reason being is I want to make sure that no matter what happens, I've got a backup car on the map, right? Like, I want to be able to go somewhere and go, okay, look, maybe I traverse around the place. Maybe I get shot out of the car. You know, maybe I use a little bit too much fuel. Like, worst case scenario, I go at... Best case scenario is, you know, I travel around, I use up all my fuel, and I don't get hit, right? I go back to that fuel station, and I've got a fully fueled, fully healed car to then just pick up, get in and out. Right, super quick and easy. Okay, just double checking the hive there that the medallion was in fact taken. Of course, the medallions are no longer in the game. Of course, if you guys are playing ranked, you will be able to still find them. And I kind of want to try ranked. You know, I know there's been a couple of players in the comment section saying, "Butter, please, we want to see you play some ranked. We want to see you do a the road to Unreal." For those of you who have already hit that like button and already hit that subscribe button, though, most of you will probably already know we did used to do these challenges. Season 1, Season 2, for Chapter 6. I don't think so much for Season 3. And the only issue is because in Australia, once you hit Plat, you don't really get any lobbies anymore, so... It's a little bit strange. I only seem to find ranked games as well on the weekends, like on Sundays specifically. I'm not even going to reload right there, and the reason being, again, I want to be a moving target. We've also got a hill here, which means someone, if there was someone on that mountain, they've got the ultimate high ground on us. And additionally, there's other high grounds opposite us here. Like, they got these cliff faces here, these buildings. There was just so many areas that players could actually completely decimate us with, which just isn't ideal, right? You want to be sort of getting out of there. So I went down to that low ground, just underneath the land bridge down there. So that was my sort of thought pattern there. Now, if we get lucky, bear in mind, a lot of players are going to be noticing this as well. So I kind of want that shockwave launcher. Get another precision airstrike here. No shockwaves, a little bit disappointing. But I mean, we do have a marketplace up ahead here, which we could get lucky with, right? Like, we might get lucky with some shockies on the wall. They should be quite cheap, you know, relatively affordable. But we've got the high ground now. A flare gun would be great here. See if we can't. He's running side to side. Fair play to him. And I think there's someone else over there in the distance. Just want to make sure we're always on the move. Yeah, a roly-poly up on our 6 there. Someone was just driving on up to us. Again, you never want to be staying still for too long. You want to be rotating. You need to be. There's a shockwave there as well, and someone has just gone up a zip line. And now we've got the ultimate low ground, so not the best place to be. However, we will, of course, make lemonade where the lemonade stand sits. All right, let's go up on this hill, and I'm going to take this sort of river pathway. Oh, hello. Take that river pathway here, up and around, maybe go up there. The only sort of issue I have with this right now is our fuel. All right, so do we have a fuel station nearby? We do not. Car spawns here, here, and here. I'm going to mark that on the map, but of course, no other car spawns will be on the map here. So we've got to make a choice, right? Our choice is we either try to take this up on the mountain, which could work out quite well. We could take this car, however, back to the city, try and find another car. And if we get lucky, sweet. Then we rotate back to the mountain. But if we got the mountain right now with this car, we might get unlucky and get stuck up there with a zone that is all the way over here, which means we'll then have to rotate around with no car going through a low ground of a valley with the river as well, which means, you know, you can't really attack in the river. There is a footstep there. Look, it's a gamble. There's a chance, right? There's always going to be a chance. You can also find a car spawn in the tunnel over there. Okay, so we got lucky. We made the right decision. All right, not going on top of that mountain. I'm going to actually... considering right now. I'm trying to consider all of our options. Look, with 6 other players left in the game, and this is like the circle that we've currently got, we're going to notice that we've got a very ratty lobby, right? So, bear that in mind. Old mate is absolutely pinging off the walls over there. Not even too sure where he went. Oh my lord, he's very quick with it. Holy dooly. That was... I don't even know how he's doing that, right? Like, the Carapace medallion is gone, isn't it? Not the Carapace. The Carapace medallion is going to be the double jump. There should be some more shockwaves here, by the way. Like, that's why we're rotating. There they are. Alright, we'll grab those. We're back up to 4. Now we should be up to a full stack of 6, as well as having this launch pad here to get us to safety. Now, we do know that there was someone down in that city. But what I'm trying to think of... Is he still jumping after us? What I'm trying to think of is, like, how he's jumping so high. It could be the Flowberry Fizz. It also could be the Exotic Fury. So right now, I'm just trying to analyze, like, what this guy's loot pool is looking like. And I'm also keeping an eye out for cars. Alright, so we might get lucky with the vehicle down here. I haven't been here. There is one. Alright, so we are going to get very, very lucky here, of course. There used to be a very big truck here, like a big bulldozer, that was indestructible. It was a piece of hardcover there, as we like to call it. It was really nice to play off of as well at times, as that point of cover. But nonetheless, guys, if you are enjoying this episode so far, make sure you do hit that like button. You hit that subscribe button. Alright, we've got Roly Poly Jr. over here, who has been an absolute menace on the lobby. I also want to be mindful of how much we boost with this car, just because these cars don't have a lot of fuel compared to the G-Wagons. And now we've got zone pulling. We could probably grief this player by shooting him out of the Roly Poly. Try and hit him with the fender bender. Alright, let's see what he had here. He's actually got the exotic, which might be nice. It's not the greatest gun in the world. I'm, yeah, more of a fan of this one. And I might go for the Fury instead. I know, we were on a roll, right? We've been on a roll lately in terms of having only the OXR rifle, but I really am a huge fan of the Fury. And I think when you're getting late game like this, I really don't want to risk it all too much for the biscuit. You know, I think... Is it a legendary as well? It is. So, I think when it comes to the Fury, the OXR, whichever's the better rarity, I'll probably take. However, if it's late game, I'll probably tend towards to go for that Fury, mostly because of the high DPS. And once you guys get used to its recoil, like its spread, you can control it very, very easily and get some really accurate high DPS, quick succession sort of kills there. So, very, very handy, very helpful as well. Got a flare gun here we might actually quickly use. Just do it once. We'll just see who else we get. And of course, go over into each 4 of these directions. Alright, and now we sort of just analyze where the ball fell there, where the coin fell. Do have someone with the swarm strike inside that building there. We could probably try and destroy the wall. It's a little bit of a far cry, but... Far cry from home. I'm not too sure if we'll even be able to really do a lot there. Unless we could find our own swarm strike or an airstrike, I think that would be our best bet. But other than that, look, we've got the high ground here, right? We've got the high ground of this POI. I also want to check, look, we've got 4 players. So we know that there is at least 1 in the city. We don't know where the other 3 are. Because there is no other shots at the moment going on, it is kind of likely that the guy in the city isn't close to anyone. Or at least that they are hidden. Okay. Now, I would go for that guy, but he doesn't have a swarm strike. We know this one down here has a swarm strike. And it's a very cheesy item, right? Like, this is an item that is cheesy. And I think if you guys want to counter any player in any season, having a cheesy item is the way to do it. Because it doesn't... It's not really reliant on you having an edge, right? It's not really reliant on skills or anything of that nature. Not so much anyway. As it is rather so, just about landing that cheesy item as it's intended to be landed, right? So, we are going to be going for the high ground up here. Now, the only sort of issue is going to be cover. I think we want to ensure that we've got cover, and so long as we can continue this momentum here, I might actually jump out into the passenger seat. This would have been a great place to use an OXR rifle for, so a little bit of a blunder, but of course, it is going to be a coin toss of where that zone sort of falls, if it's going to push you into a close range fight. Or a close medium range fight that, you know, you could probably use the Fury for. Or if it's going to be a long range fight, right, that you could probably use the OXR for. Alrighty, so do we have anyone else here? Maybe, potentially. We got someone down below. We've also got a launch pad we can take, which is going to be quite handy, but again, this is a Fury territory here. Remove that follower. Alright, now we know that there is 2 other players in the lobby. So the follower was going towards the south. And because of the way that the zone is, we know he can be coming up here, or he can be coming up here. Now, because we don't hear any of the shots nearby, it's likely that the other 2 players, or other player, is going to be around the opposite direction. So I'm going to quickly just check our 6 here and just double check that he's not trying to do a little bit of a cheeky maneuver. Of course, I feel like a little bit like Home and Alone right now. I'm sort of just waiting for these intruders to... There he is. Waiting for these intruders to just completely ruin my holiday. I'm not too sure what's going on there, but oh, there they are. Again, this is perfect, absolute prime time OXR territory right now. He's into zone. He's running for it. I'm not too sure what he's trying to do. But I reckon we could probably just shockwave on here. It would be so, so risky. And I just hope that the full damage stays with us. Okay, it does for a moment. Alright guys, if you did enjoy that episode, make sure you hit that like button. You hit that subscribe button, and as always, take care. Garnier.